Hey, what's up everybody, Haskins here, coming at you with another awesome build tutorial for you. Today, we're going to be showing you how to build this American flag here in LEGO Fortnite. Now, I do want to point out before we get into this, this will require you to have both the Anarchy Acres and Beachy Boulevard sets. However, if you do not have those, stick around because you'll still be learning a directional building technique that allows you to place pieces horizontal. Now, special shout out to the Grind Geek. He had come up with this and has some videos on multi-directional building. I'm going to go ahead and link those in the description. All right, so for the first step of this build, you can use any corner wall, the 2x2x12s. I'm just gonna simply start to build a few of these up in height. Now, I highly recommend building this higher up. It is quite large, and the higher up in the air it is, the more space you're gonna have, and it's just gonna look a lot better overall. Next thing you're gonna do is just grab any type of walls. It's just like the 2x16x12s, and we're just gonna create a nice little corner here. And the point of this corner is when we build our dynamic block that's gonna be used to help flip our pieces, we're gonna have to smash this thing right in the corner to get a nice even plane on this block. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is a dynamic block? Well, let me explain. So what you're gonna do is we're just gonna grab any corner, so this 2x2x12 works just fine, and we're gonna go over to our foundation pieces where we'll grab either the granite or the wood 8x8x2, and we're just gonna get these onto the side of this piece just like this. We're gonna nudge it until it turns green, and we're just gonna stack 3 of these together. Now, once you've got that on there, all you need to do is come around back and give it a little whack with that pickaxe or whatever you got going on there. Maybe punch, don't pick, like Kaboom always says, whatever floats your boat. And we're gonna slap one of these thin floor pieces just in front of it. And the idea here is we're gonna wanna get this thing flipped on its side like this and pushed directly into the corner. Now, the important thing is to make sure that all of the sides are touching and are perfectly in the corner, just like that. One thing to do for safety measure too is if you have some players in your world that are a little bit frisky, or you might have some enemies nearby, go ahead and reinforce your actual post by putting a lot more of these on the bottom. This is going to ensure that your work doesn't get wasted by somebody slapping one post down and having the whole thing come crashing down. All right, so for the next part, in order to have the pattern of 13 stripes to begin and end the way that they should, we want to start off with this red acres corner. This is the 2x2x12, and we're going to snap it into the bottom of that dynamic block that we created, and we're going to start to slowly bring this thing back until we make contact with the actual flagpole. Now, this part can be extremely frustrating at times, and if you're having trouble getting it lined up, I definitely recommend resetting where your post is. But you're just going to want to have this thing hang off about halfway between that, and we're going to snap it in. So what you'll notice is that I have this thing connected halfway across the width of the actual pole, and we're just going to take another piece and snap it off into the direction that we want and get rid of this other one. Now that we've got that going, we're going to just continue to stack these all the way up until we get our desired height. Now, I know the snapping in this part can be very tricky as well, so again, just be patient. And the point here that we're going to want to do is maybe get some stairs out, and then we can start to stack on top of these a little bit easier. So we're gonna go back to this post here and just continue to build up. All right, so as you can see, I stacked about 20 of these on top of the original one that I set down. I think that's a good starting height. Now, the other thing too is you might have to start building your actual post a little bit higher depending on how you want to take this thing. So all of those things are just little adjustments that can be made along the way. But now from here, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna break out every single piece that we don't want, and we're just gonna leave the 2 top ones. Now, although the tutorial I'm doing now is in Sandbox, I have done a double-sided version of this flag in my survival world, so no stranger to the challenges of getting this thing together in survival. So if you're doing that, make sure you have plenty of stairs and floor pieces to help kind of get you around as you build this thing out. So I do have to say, outside of movement in trying to do this in survival, we're pretty much set up for success at this point. The hardest part is out of the way, which was getting your block set up and getting these things flipped. So from here, the pattern, we're gonna have 13 stripes in total. Again, we're starting off with the red. Now, each stripe is gonna consist of a height of 2 of these floor pieces flipped and a width of 9 in total. So what I do recommend on doing is stepping on down to the ground here, and this is going to be the set number 2. So we've got 3, and we're gonna keep doing this until we have 9 in total. All right, so the way you can check your work is you'll see these little white pieces are on the bottom there, the little notch there. Count those to make sure you have 9. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now from here, we're gonna alternate by using the actual beachy corners, and we're gonna start to stack these up on top of the red ones. We're gonna do the exact same thing here. So we're gonna go 9 across and 2 high. So just start to alternate this pattern until you get to your 5th stripe. And then once we get there, we're gonna be starting to add in the blue wall pieces to create the star section of the flag. So before we start laying down the blue section of the flag, just simply check your work and make sure that you have 3 red stripes in total and 2 white stripes in total. Now, again, you want to make sure that you started with red and ended with red of this section. All you survival builders out there, I recommend starting to build stairs in the other direction. That way you have good visibility of the top of this red section here. And for the blue section of the flag, we're going to use Beachy Wall 1. This is the 2x2x12. And just like we've done with all the other ones, we're just going to simply snap these on top. And we're going to do them 4 in width. From here, we'll just continue to stack these up because this pattern will go all the way up to the top of the flag. Now, I do have to say the one unfortunate part about these pieces is they do have that weird white stripe, but at the end of the day, once you get all of the pieces that are supposed to represent the stars on the flag, they kind of hide a little bit and they don't look as bad. But just continue to build this up until you have, say, maybe 10 to 15 of them stacked on top of each other. And then we're going to start to work in the rest of the stripe patterns. All right, so as you can see here, I laid down 15 of them in height, and again, they are 4 in width. Now, this is going to give you the option to start building out the remaining parts of your stripes. Now, the reason I didn't give you an exact count here is because I don't really remember exactly the count that there was, even though this is the 3rd flag I've built. But all in all, we're going to just go back to our beachy corners, and we're going to start to continue that pattern until we reach the top of those blue ones that we just placed down. Now at this point, if you've built all the way up to near the top of this blue section, you should have 12 stripes in total, which means that we need 1 more. Now the only problem with putting 15 stacked right there was that we need 1 more row of these blue ones. So we're gonna go back to the Beachy Wall 1, and we're just gonna put 1 more row up at the top. And that's going to give us the right height for our 13th and final stripe. And we're going to do the same thing we've been doing all along. Now, as we get the 50 stars, or I guess you can't really call them stars because they're not, but it's the closest thing that I found to represent the stars and that work on this flag. You're going to want to put some of these stairs down and make them a little bit more wide so you have room to kind of step back and take a look at where you're setting pieces. But we're going to use the beachy railing corner. Now, what I recommend doing here is starting up in the top left corner and just get a nice even spacing from the top and the left side. And we're going to want to nudge this back until it turns green. Now from here, you can almost use these stripes up the middle that I don't quite like on this flag, but they do help when creating spacing. Now, what you can do here is just make sure that it's evenly lined up with the one that you just put down and have it just hang off the stripe just like that. Now we're going to be doing 6 in this top row, and then from here just try to make them as evenly spaced as possible. Let's get the 6th one in. Boom. Now what I recommend doing next is starting with the bottom row. Now this bottom row is also going to be 6 across. Now the thing you're going to want to do is use your eyes' best judgment to line these up in column order with the ones above them. So what I mean by that is every single one that you place down here, you're going to want to have it lined up directly or as close to directly lined up with the ones above it, and just continue to move these across, making sure they're in line with the current row and the row above until you have 6 all the way across. Now follow the exact same spacing principles that we use for the top and bottom row, but this time we're going to do one right up the middle of this flag here. Now just take your time yet again and make sure you have 6 across for this middle row. Now we're going to repeat this for 2 more rows of 6. Now we're going to find the middle between the top and middle row, and we're just going to do 6 more across there. And we're going to do the same between the middle row and the bottom row. And then from there, we'll start to fill it out with our rows of 5. I do have some of them a little bit out of place, but That's okay. You can feel free to just go in and make any type of adjustments you want. I just recommend making sure that you punch, don't pick, because you do not want to knock out any of the pieces behind the mock stars that we're putting up. Now from here, we're going to fill this out by putting rows of 5. Now there's going to be 4 of them that we're going to fill in here, and you can just simply do this by creating a fill in the center there. So just do these until you go up. So we'll have 1, will be 2, 3, and then 4, just like that. And we're going to do this across the entire flag. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss another epic build tutorial from me again. This is Haskin signing off. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.